Hope all of you are keeping good. So
Ma'am,
today our session is based on performance analysis. I hope all of you are able to view the screen.
Yes, ma'am.
yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll continue then. So here in my previous sections, classes, I was talking about what is an algorithm, what are its characteristics, and the algorithm specifications in detail. So algorithm specification in detail covers two things. What are they? Pseudo conventions and recursive algorithms. So conventions are what are all the notations or the things what you have to follow when you are writing an algorithm, or how you can write an algorithm using what conventions. And recursive algorithms, though the heading is recursive, but we learned few examples of recursive and iterative. So recursive is something where when a function is calling itself, then we say it as recursive. Iterative means, so there won't be any recursion. There won't be any recursion. So using some other programming concepts, loops, we are going to write the code in iterative method. So all of you got the difference between recursive and iterative. So in the examination, they may ask specifically, write a recursive algorithm for Fibonacci, write a iterative algorithm for factorial. Or one more example I have given, they specify the function and the details of it. So when it is greater, when it is lesser, or otherwise. So some terminology of the problem they may give in general, and they may ask you to write the algorithm. So that's how we have done the previous classes. So our today's topic is about performance analysis. So you just follow the mouse cursor here. Performance analysis. So I just want to concentrate on performance analysis today. So before going to this performance analysis or under performance analysis only, it says that performance evaluation is there. So one topic, performance evaluation is there. In that performance evaluation, so how exactly it is performing, whether good or bad, how you are going to evaluate. So when we say performance of a particular student, so how he is doing means it's not only just the marks and all, how he is communicating, how he is learning things and all. So performance evaluation, total evaluation, not only academics, all other things also will be included. Total evaluation of a student within the campus. Okay, including studies, extra sports and all. So that is something like performance evaluation. So that performance evaluation is categorized into two major phases. That is priori estimation and posteriori testing. Okay. Priori estimation means before you join the college. So seeing your degree percentages or maybe the ISET rank or whatever it is, you will be joined. Okay, so that is prior to your MCA. What are the things taken into consideration? So that is priori, before. Okay, posterior means after completion of MCA course. So the evaluation of yours, so to into which job you are going to settle and all is something like posteriori. Posterior means after. Okay, so if you can just take these terms with this example and relate to our subject. So when I say about algorithm performance evaluation, so algorithm performance evaluation means evaluating the algorithm in all the perspectives. Okay, so priori estimation means before writing the algorithm itself, before and during writing the algorithm. So that is priori estimation. Before the evaluation process, whatever we are going to do is priori for a particular algorithm. Posteriori means once the algorithm is framed, And when it is related to some programming language and then executed, whether you are getting executed properly, whether you are able to deploy, run it, getting the output. So all that comes under testing. Okay, debugging and all that comes under posteriori testing. Okay, once whatever is done from priori and the process, so that will be connected to some programming language, and then that will be tested whether it is working properly or not. Hope understood these 2 points, what is priori and posteriori. Okay, so that is performance evaluation. Okay, so here priori estimation. So before only we are going to concentrate on some things which are called priori estimation. It is called as performance analysis. Priori estimation is nothing but performance analysis. And posteriori testing means, so the testing can be done based on how much time it took and how much space it is took. Okay, so in both the things, before and after, so these two, time and space, are more important. Okay, so but in priori the other three are also included. So that is what the topic for today. So that is about performance analysis. So in that, the first one, so the topic for today is the space complexity, which I want to cover today. So here, coming to space complexity is, the space complexity of an algorithm is the amount of memory. So the amount of memory it is taking. The amount of memory it is taking to run. Okay, so that is what the space complexity. Whereas time complexity, it is the amount of time. Okay, here is space, so that is what we have to concentrate on. So, and this is nothing but the time. Okay, so amount of computer time it needs to run for completion. So that is the time complexity. So we are going to learn in detail about the space complexity now. Okay, so space complexity, the space needed by the algorithm, the space needed by any algorithm space needed by any algorithm is equal to the sum of the fixed part. When I say, I'll tell you what these terminologies are. Fixed and variable. Fixed part and variable part, I will say. Okay, so the space of an algorithm, we are going to calculate on this. So this you have to remember. So it's something like a formula. The space needed by an algorithm is sum of the fixed parts and variable parts. What do you mean by fixed part? So fixed part is the one which is independent of the characteristics of the input and output. So if I take some thing, so what can be the fixed parts? The variables what you are going to use. So maybe fixed. Okay, it may not change. But say that variables, if you are saying int a or float b, something like that. So each variable is fixed, integer type, it's fixed. So like that, so that we call them as fixed parts, the things which are used for input and output, and which are independent. They are not depending on anything. They are independent. Okay. And this part typically includes the instruction space for simple and fixed components. Space and something like here you have some variables, some constants, say some constant value, pi value you are assigning and all. So the things which are there in fixed, so that comes under fixed. Not only the variables, some constants and some simple variables and some component variables. So simple variables means the declaration of a variable, say sum of two numbers means if at all you want to declare the two numbers, a is equal to some value, b is equal to some value, then that is that. Okay. So when I say component variables in a for loop, say you may iterate for I, so that is the component variables. That all that comes under fixed part. Okay. So moving on to the variable part. So what is variable part? That consists of space needed by component variables and which are dependent. So these things you have to remember. So this is dependent, and whereas fixed ones are independent. Fixed ones are independent. Okay. So these variable components, whatever we are saying, variables whose size is dependent on a particular problem. So based on some particular problem, the work area or the coding, so either loops, whether you use recursive or iterative, so that may change based on the problem. So that is what we call them as the variable part. It depends on a specific problem. So that is dependent. Okay. And such type of variables are called as referenced variables. Okay. So the things which are very much referred to a particular problem are called reference variables. And these are the ones which depends on the instance characteristics. So when I say instance, for that particular problem, how to solve and all, so at that instance what exactly it is needed, whether it is recursive or iterative, so likewise, so it is going to work. So the space complexity, so here the space complexity is represented as S of P. So the above box I just wrote. So this one I just wrote for our understanding. But the usual notation is the space complexity for a particular problem is, so C plus S suffix small p. So you can just make a note of these things. Storage of a particular problem is equal to C plus SP. So what is C? C, we just say it as some constant which is fixed. So you can just make a note of it. C is nothing but a constant that denotes the fixed part of the space requirements. Again, I repeat, C is a constant that denotes the fixed part of the space requirements. Whereas this one, SP, represents the variable component. Okay. So this is fixed and this is variable, dynamic, which keeps changing. This will be fixed. So sum of these two will give you the space needed for a particular algorithm. So this is in general in our understanding. But when the notation comes for space complexity of a particular algorithm or problem, what we say, then we say S stands for space complexity of P. P is problem. So S of P, space complexity of a particular problem, is equal to space complexity of a particular problem is equal to sum of, since we are doing addition, so we say it as sum of its fixed variables and the variable components. So fixed, we just say in general as constant. It's fixed. There won't be any change at all. So that's why we say it as a constant. Whereas variable components, we say we represent that as SP. Okay. So usually this SP we say as instance characteristics. So this SP we say instance characteristics. Instance means for a particular problem, the instance of any particular problem. So the things what are needed for that problem maybe keep changing. So that's why we say instance characteristics, the things which are needed for a particular problem. Okay. So till here, is that clear? Shall I continue?
Yes, ma'am.
So the space complexity of a problem, you have to remember that space complexity of a particular problem is nothing but sum of the fixed part and the variable part. Fixed part is something where the variables, constants, so such fixed things which won't change. So such things we say it as fixed, and variable components are nothing but the instance characteristics. What keeps on changing for a particular problem are nothing but instance characteristics. Okay, so that is what the general things. So the next one. So here we have some variables. Not variables, I'm sorry. It's there are some examples. So when we are analyzing the space complexity of an algorithm, we can concentrate only on, yes, tell me, just now I told you what is the formula for space complexity. So the space complexity is fixed part plus variable part. So fixed is anyway constant, there won't be any change. So what we have to concentrate when we are doing space complexity, we have to concentrate on the variable parts, that is instance characteristics. If we can concentrate, then we can write about the space complexity. Okay, and for any given problem, we need first to determine which instance characteristics to use and which measure the space requirements. So if any problem is given, what are the instance characteristics for that? So that all that if we can concentrate, then we can get the space complexity of that particular problem. And the choice of instance characteristics is purely very much specific or related to for what problem you are writing the algorithm. Again, I repeat, the instance characteristics are purely dependent on the problem, specific problem. Okay, so generally when we speak, the choices are limited to the quantities related to number and magnitude of the inputs and the output from the algorithm. So here few examples are there. So I'll just take one examples and then I'll try to explain. So here the first one. So example one, if we take, So here the example one algorithm. Algorithm and its name is given as say some ABC, and the parameters are A comma B comma C I am giving. Okay. So and here then it is going to return some value. So what it is going to return? So it is going to return as A plus B plus B into C plus parenthesis A plus B parenthesis divided by A plus B plus 40. So if you see this example, okay. So if you see this example here, so what exactly we are trying to learn from this? So here the algorithm name is ABC and it is taking 3 parameters. Okay. So here when I am saying about the space complexity of this algorithm, if I say example 1, so that is nothing but C plus constant plus SP. So here the 3 parameters are nothing but, what are these 3 parameters? Are nothing but inputs. These 3 parameters we can say that them as the inputs. So anyway the inputs what we are taking will come under the constants only. Okay. And return. So whatever may be the constant values when they are passed, totally this becomes some 1 unit. So when all these computations are done based on whatever the priorities of the operators given here, so when it is done, so it is going to return some value, but overall this is only one word. One word. When I say a word, it may not be the alphabetical word. So a word means a number or whatever it is going to return to. Okay. So here, then what exactly the space complexity of this? So these inputs are anyway coming under constant. And if you see the contents, so the characteristics, so this also SP instance characteristics depends on the block of code what we are using. So the block of code says that it is returning only some one value from this. Okay. So that value also is fixed. So here the instance characteristics for this example, we can say it is independent of instance characteristics. So here we are not using anything which keeps on changing. So all these are constants here. So in this example, we can say the instance characteristics for this particular example, since there is no things or no content in block of code except some constant it is returning. So the instance characteristics for this particular example is 0, and based on some input, so this is constant. So again, I'll just repeat, the problem instance is characterized by the specific values of A, B and C. Making the assumptions one word is adequate. So one word is sufficient in order to store the values of A, B, C and the result also. We see that space needed by A, B, C is independent. So this one. So this inputs, whatever we are getting, are independent of this instance characteristics. So here the instance characteristics value here for this algorithm is 0 and this is constant. So now tell me what is the overall space complexity of this example 1. So I'm writing P1. Why? Because for problem 1. Problem 1 means my first example. So that is constant, I can say. Constant, or we can say it as 1. Or any numerical value between 1, 2, 3 and so on, whatever may be. So all this can be said as some constant. So maybe input 1, 2, 3 and this overall what is returning maybe 4. Okay, but in general, whatever the number we are giving it as constant. But some other examples, when we go in detail, if needed this number, instead of saying C, I can write it as 4. 3 for 3 input variables and 1 for the space needed for result. Okay, so that is how we are going to say. So this is example 1. Is that okay, or you want me to repeat anything? Yes, ma'am, please respond. Students, hello.
How that 3 is come, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. 3. Since 3 inputs. Since 3 inputs. And one more word is needed. And one more word is needed for returning this result. When I say return means, so what exactly it will do? It will just return by calculating this entire quantity, yes or no? So this if you consider as, so this is 1, this is 2 and this is 3. So 3 inputs plus what the result you are sending, so that is 4. So that's how we get 4. But we don't specify any kind of number. If any number is there, generally we say it as constant. Okay. So that is the example 1.